Namaskar. Hello, everyone. Good evening, Dallas. Thank you so much for joining. And hello to all my global viewers. Welcome to the show, Global Gossip. And I'm your host, Anu. And thank you so much for joining Facebook and YouTube live the program today. Hope you're all enjoying the variety of topics that comes every week. Discussions with me every week on social, economical, political, health, and entertainment, and more that I'm trying to bring for you with a different guest. So today is going to be a very interesting topic because we have to address some of the most talked topic today, which is CAA. The the CAA was passed by the Parliament of India on 11 December 2019. The the Citizenship Amendment Act that it is 1955 was amended again, like providing the pathway to Indian citizenship for refugees from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, who are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians, and arrived in India before the end of December 2014. And actually, the law does not grant such eligibility to Muslims from those three countries, all of which are Muslim majority countries, as to speak. So this is the very first time the religion had been used as a criteria for citizenship under the Indian law. So as soon as it was announced, the violent protest between 13th and 15th of December in West Bengal started, and it took everyone back to remember the partition of 1946, as we remember. Um, so the question is the CAA understood completely by everyone as a citizen, or is the protest due to the lack of knowledge, or is there more to it? So let's find out today. We have a very prominent guest in the studio with me, to talk about that one in today's discussion. So let me welcome our today's guest on my panel. So let me go ahead and invite Mr. Uh, Judhajit Singh Mujumdar, founder of NRIs for Bengal, and Mr. Biswajit Chakravarti, founder of Overseas Friends of Bengal, and also Urmidi Pagal, that she's a global coordinator for Overseas Friends of Bengal. And they all are being a great supporter of my show every time coming and, sharing their valuable time and wisdom and knowledge with me. And my team member, Mr. Bhupinder Minchi, and he's a social and a political activist, always contributing a very valuable time. And he's also a first generation immigrant right here in Dallas. Thank you so much for joining. And today we have also a very special guest, Shri Ashim Sarkar, and he is a leader of the Matwa community of Bengal, and we have a big guest today, also guest of honor, Dr. Mohit Ray, environmental and human rights activist and a writer also, and he's coordinator for refugees, the state BJP West Bengal, India. And today we have a very special and my favorite chief guest, Shri Tathagata Roy, here to share so the valuable time. Thank you so much for joining. And he's a former governor of Meghalaya, Tripura, and Arunachal Pradesh, and he served as a governor from 2015 to 2018 of Tripura, and governor of Meghalaya from August 18 to end of this term in 2020. So I hope I said it right. And he's a great writer, of course, and write extensively, the socio-political issues both in English and his native language, Bengali. So, being said that, I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of Global Gupshup and Asian News, and thank you so much for joining. So today we are going to have a very interesting conversation. Please feel free to interrupt me, or I'm going to start a question with Dr. Tathagata. Thank you so much for joining again. And let me ask, to start with this amendment act. It has been a very ongoing issue without any, end. So like it's ongoing in everywhere. So you said there is a strong reason why there is a limitation citizenship to minorities of these three countries that what we noticed, and you also urged everyone go ahead and learn the history and understand it. So let's start with is everything before even it is actually implemented, or is this because like do you think there is an added political ignition or anything more than that, for these protests and provoking the situation currently that what we are experiencing?
I didn't quite get your question. Would you repeat the question again?
Okay, so you actually said that everyone needs to understand the read the history of India before even you act, because a lot of protest, everything is going on everywhere after the CAA was announced. And and you also said there is a strong reason why there is a limitation of the citizenship to minorities, for the limitation. So is this only because lack of information, or is this because they actually are taking an advantage of this situation to politically provoke and ignite it, and that is the reason we are experiencing the height of this violence and all the loss of lives in Bengal?
Thank you. It is actually both. It is
Okay.
lack of knowledge on the part of the what we call the silent majority, the great multitudes of India. I am particularly concerned with West Bengal because that is where I live and that is where the maximum damage has been done in protest against the CAA. So it is lack of knowledge on their part, and it is motivated, ill-motivated politics on the part of certain bodies who do not want their hypocrisy to be exposed. You see, there is a hypocrisy which has been going on in the Indian polity for a very long time. That is to make us forget that the country which was won before 1947 was partitioned in the name of religion. Partition on the basis of religion, that is Muslims and non-Muslims, on no other basis. Not on the basis of caste, not on the basis of language, not on the basis of social practices, politics, nothing. Religion, and specifically Muslim versus non-Muslim. And thereafter, when the part that the Muslims wanted to be named as Pakistan was separated from the rest of the country, they drove out practically all non-Muslims from the part which was then West Pakistan, and the multitude of non-Muslims from the part which became East Pakistan. The history of the two parts are quite different, and I need not go into it right now at this stage. But this is what is most important is that A, it was partitioned in the name of religion, and B, after it was partitioned, the non-Muslims were not allowed to live in Pakistan, but the Muslims stayed put in India, largely except for the state of Punjab. They stayed put in India. There was no serious persecution of them, nothing compared to what had happened in Pakistan. This is a hypocrisy. I mean, they're trying to make people forget this is a bit of hypocrisy that these so-called quote-unquote secular parties have been practicing, and the CAA calls the bluff. That is why all these gentlemen and trying to whip up tension, trying to whip up frenzy in the name of opposing the CAA, and the rest of the people, they are ignorant of the history because of the very action or inaction of this secular crowd, and they are responding to it. That's more or less it.
Right. So absolutely. And Dr. Sarkar, do you have any comments on that one? Because I know that the on behalf of the community that I just wanted to ask you that, so how do you feel about that? Unmute yourself, please. I think, yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I think there are two terms here. We need to be little bit clarified here.
Okay.
Before I start, I want to thank Vishwajit Chakraborty and Urmidi for giving me this opportunity to talk to this great forum. Both of them, Vishwajit ji, I've been working with him for many years, and I just came to know Urmiji for a couple of months, but I feel her energy and vigor everywhere. I wish her uh, health and peace in her life. Thank you. So let me go back. So two things we are discussing: the refugee issue and CAA issue. So who are the refugees? Let's clarify this issue because it's very important to know
Right.
what whom we are calling the refugees now. So before 1947, these people were the citizen of Great India. In 1947, some politician overnight made them citizen of Pakistan. So this was not their wish. So those people who were the citizen of India, we made them citizen of Pakistan. And in an environment, we put them, what Tathagata explained nicely, the country that they could not live with dignity, safety. And people started to migrate. And they started to migrate from 1947, depending on their situation, their financial status, their everything. So they continue. But what happened from 1947 till 2003? Our politician, they forgot the responsibility. They divided the country on the basis of religion, and Hindus are supposed to come to India. Muslims are supposed to go back, the other part. And anybody Hindus comes for any time, they are supposed to be, they are citizen of India, they are supposed to give some paper that they can be legally citizen of India. But our politician they forgot their promise. What they did, they created blockage after blockage to not becoming citizen of, these people would not be citizen of India. And from 2003, they made them illegal immigrant. What a shame. Those who are citizen of India, we made them citizen of Pakistan. And when they came back to India, we told them you are illegal immigrant. And these are the people, and these people mostly from East Pakistan or East Bengal or Bangladesh, we are calling them refugee now. They are not the refugee. They are citizen of India. Now, nobody, no politician till now had the courage to face this issue. Nobody had the courage to tell that this country belongs mainly to Hindus, and we are Hindus. And anybody Hindus from the other part of the Pakistan, other part of the Mother India comes here, should be automatically citizen. Modi ji, Amit Shah ji took the courage and they made the amendment, whatever has been made since 1947, that yes, these people should be given citizenship. And this is the amendment, what we call CAA. So essentially, BJP is undoing all the mistakes the politician has made so far, making the citizen of India non-citizen of India. So this is the essentially the thing. So there is no confusion here. There should not be any confusion, and whom should get and whom should not get. As Mr. Tathagadada, he is explained this clearly. That is, they should read the history. Right. They should read the history and they should know what's going on. I will stop here, but I want to explain the implication of this thing in the current context if you give me time later on, or I can tell now.
Okay. Well, actually, yes, we will discuss a little bit about that one a little later. So let me ask Mr. Mohit Ray. So just like in brief, can you also put some light on that one? Also, like is this caused by just a lack of knowledge, or is this like there is more to it that is that we are actually having this issue in Bengal currently? And please unmute yourself. I think we cannot hear you. Yes. Mr. Mohit, can you unmute yourself? I think we cannot hear you. I think, yes. He's having a... No. You have, yeah, unmute the microphone because I can't. Okay, now.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
please
yeah.
go ahead.
I think, can you hear me now? Yeah. See, first, let me say I disagree mostly with you, with what Mr. Sarkar said. It's not the politician who divided this. It was done while at that time division was did by, or say for West Bengal. I just given one example of Mr. Pramotharanjan Thakur, the great leader of Motuas. He was one of the members of the West Bengal Assembly, that time assembly, who was one of the who signed for the partition of Bengal and formation of West Bengal. So it is wrong to say that some politician has suddenly made some people, thrown some in the Pakistan. No, it is not. It was the time, and that India was getting partitioned, India Act, and in that way, I'll focus on West Bengal. There was on 20th June 1947, there was a combined West Bengal Assembly. There was voting that whether Bengal, nearly all the Hindu members and all the Muslim members voted for Pakistan, not a single one for India or separate West Bengal. But mostly the Hindu members, they voted for West Bengal. One of them was Jyoti Basu, communist leader Ratanlal Brahman. I mentioned Pramotharanjan Thakur. So it is not true. It has been decided by the will of the people at that time, right or wrong. Secondly, the refugee issue should be cleared. In India, like any country, citizens is defined by the Citizenship Act. Now, before you have to be clear that in West Bengal there are two types of refugees. One is from Pakistan, that is from East Pakistan, who came from 1971, and others are from after 1971 came from Bangladesh. Status still very different. Later, but this very people who came from, they have the provision in Citizenship Act clause number 5 to apply for citizenship, and thousands and millions of refugees who came from 1971, whether for East Pakistan or West Pakistan, has all got citizenship whenever they applied. But only thing, what CAA has, for that you have a detailed form you have to fill up. Now for CA it will be very simple. Only give the self-declaration. For the refugees from Bangladesh, in 1971, date may be here and there, 7th September 1970, who come from East Bengal, that time it was not East Pakistan or Bangladesh, who come to India cannot apply for citizenship. And it is still valid without visa, just like how the refugees come. So they have to don that all apply, and details will come later. Only one thing I would like to mention: the whole failure of for last 70 years And
Mhm.
nobody mentions that, as if why they Hindus would migrate, Muslims have not migrated. The Islamic oppression which has made them refugees from, there was no at this kind of any treaty that all Hindus would Muslims have gone. That is rubbish.
Right.
But Hindus have to come.
Mhm. I think camera is frozen. We, I think we have a little technical difficulty, I guess, and his relay is a little bit delayed. So okay, so let me continue while we are actually doing this. So Bhupinder, you did have some question for Tadada. So please go ahead and let's continue with that one, and we'll catch up. Or Mr. Mohit, yeah.
Uh, is uh, is Mr. Mohit still able to hear me? I can ask him a
Yes,
follow-up question.
yes,
Mr.
yes.
Mohit,
I think
can you hear me? Looks like his his um,
he's having
his screen is frozen. He
he's
can't hear
having a
me.
little
So,
technical difficult. Yes, I think
uh,
yeah, yes.
let me ask this question to Mr. Tathagat Ray. There's a lot of turmoil that is happening in West Bengal politically these days, and we saw something happen this morning. And do you believe that this will continue for the next 6 months or so, more than that? And what is how is that current ruling entity? How is it going to affect that? And our home minister said this morning that towards the close of the election, the Didi is going to be standing alone. Do you agree with that assessment? Your mic is muted, Mr. Roy. Your mic is muted. You have to mute your mic. Muted, Mr. Roy. Your mic is muted. You have to mute your mic.
Yeah, I think you can hear me now.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think you can hear me now. Right. See,
Yes,
what you
yes, please.
said is largely true, although Mr. Amit Shah was campaigning for the coming elections, which are only a few months away. It is largely true because over the last 10 years, we have seen the rule, or rather misrule, of Mamata Banerjee, which has got people disgusted. Actually, she is repeating the performance of the left front, principally the CPIM, which had been ruling West Bengal over the last 34 years, from 1977 till 2011. And Ms. Banerjee must have figured that if the leftists could rule in this manner for 34 years, then why can't I repeat the performance by copying their methods too? So she has been doing it. The principal ways of doing it are to politicizing the polity, politicizing the administration and the police force. See, it is a condition of our democracy that permanent civil servants, whether of the police or of the bureaucracy or wherever, permanent civil servants shall never get involved in politics, and they should act politically neutral in all matters. When a minister, that is a political appointee or a people's appointee, takes some decision and asks them to implement it, which according to the bureaucrat judgment is against the constitution, against the law, they are obliged to execute that order, provided it was given in writing. Now, these orders are hardly ever given in writing, practically never. And this is what the CPIM was doing, the leftists were doing, and this is what Mamata Banerjee has been copying. Apart from that, she has been carrying on a relentless campaign of just plain politics without any administration. She has been going from district to district. She hardly ever sits in her own office in the place that she calls Navando and does administrative work. On the other hand, she moves from district to district, meeting people, holding public meetings, and taking bureaucrats or functionaries in front of the public and then chastising them when necessary in publicly, so that she comes out in shining armor as a upholder of people's rights, and these people are on the mat, they are chastised. So these are some of the methods that Mamata Banerjee has been copying, but these are basically bluffs, because she has not been able to do anything for the people. She has made corruption unlimited. This unbelievable corruption in the state of West Bengal, something that is all the most surprising, because there was a time when she was pictured as the embodiment of honesty, Shototar Pratimurti, as we used to say in Bengali, or her supporters used to say in Bengali. But later on, we found that she was holding secret meetings with promoters of Ponzi schemes. She was selling her garbage painting to one of these Ponzi scheme runners for astronomical sums, and her nephews and her brothers were getting rich like crazy. Thereafter, people saw this bluff. This was quite as apparent as anything. Secondly, the way she has been humoring, she has been appeasing the Muslim minority in the state is just not funny. The kind of thing that she has done, trying to provide allowances to imams of mosques, welcoming and settling of Rohingya refugees in the state, which is already very densely populated. Rohingya refugees that come from Myanmar to Bangladesh. Their abode has no common border with West Bengal. So there is no reason, absolutely no reason why the Rohingyas should be settled in West Bengal. But she did it because she thought that this would get her Muslim votes. Then a whole lot of other things like huge compensation for Hooch victims in Muslim area, then ignoring communal riots, all these things. And finally, she has not done any development. In fact, she came to power by blocking development. When Tata Motors, one of the principal manufacturing entities in the whole of India, they wanted to set up a car factory in West Bengal. She put all her might in blocking it and succeeded, with the result that they left. They spent a lot of money buried here, and then they left the state. And after that, naturally, the kind of disincentive it worked for all other willing industrialists can only be imagined. So this is what she is doing, and she has all been trying, and this is the reason why Amit Shah ji predicted, and in my view quite rightly, that she will not last, that eventually she will be left as the only person in her party, and presumably her nephew too. These two will be left as the only two persons in the party. And well, that's it. So although she was here, Amit Shah ji was campaigning for an election, what he said is very true. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. That was very elaborate and very enlightening to see. And as Urmiji said in the beginning of the show, I don't think you had joined at that time, that BJP is going to be making the next government in West Bengal, and we all hope and pray for that. My next question was actually for Dr. Roy, for Dr. Mohit Roy, is you were talking about the partition times, and if you could tell our viewers today, Dr. Roy, is the demographic West Bengal as it was at the time of partition, and how it changed over the years, particularly after the liberation of Bangladesh and creation of Bangladesh in 71, and where do we stand there? Where do we stand on that? And how has this demographic changes been exploited by the successive governments in West Bengal? Bangladesh, where do we stand on that? And how has this demographic government? Dr. Mohit Roy, did you hear me?
Was formed on the basis. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
So West Bengal was created on demography. That is the basic fact. And in fact, even we accept that some population going this way and that way, and we take the 1951 census as basis, though by this time, pogrom in East Bengal or East Pakistan in 1950, one of the important leader of Jogendranath Mondal, who was the law minister of Pakistan, he even putting.
I think we lost him. So let's wait until it. So.
Can I take
do you
that
want
question,
to?
Please?
Yes.
Bhupenderji, can I take that question, please?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
With Mohita's apology, when Mohita comes back online, you see, you were asking about the demographic position. Before 1947, the landmass that is today known as Bangladesh was later known as East Pakistan, was earlier known as East Pakistan, and even earlier known as East Bengal, which was a part of the the province of Bengal. That landmass had 29% of Muslim population, and Mohita has come back. Mohita, I'm just taking a little bit of your question and trying to answer it in my own way. See, that landmass had 29% Hindus, 70% Muslims, and about 1% of Buddhists and Christians. Today, the position is that landmass has about 92% Muslims and hardly 8% of Hindus, Buddhists, and Christians combined. Now, looking at West Bengal, you see a very paradoxical thing, that since the percentage of Muslims went up astronomically in East Bengal, we would normally expect that the percentage of Muslims would go down in West Bengal. But the opposite has happened. According to the 1951 census, roughly West Bengal, the landmass that is today known as West Bengal, had 20% Muslims, 80% Hindus, and the rest were negligible. Now, today that part is 30% Muslims, the rough figures, 30% Muslims and 70% Hindus. Now, how did this come about? Two ways. Number one is the procreative genius of the relevant religionists, and secondly, huge infiltration of Muslims post 1971 from Bangladesh. You see, Bangladesh is the most densely populated country, the most densely populated country in the world, with a density of about 1200 per square kilometer. And as compared to that, India has only some 380 per square kilometer. So before the border, when the border was unguarded, unprotected, people came in hordes, and quote unquote secular politicians, what they did is they figured that these people would form a very reliable vote bank for us if we manage to give them citizenship, if we give them passport and stuff like that. And they arranged all that, with the result that these people became citizens, and the population of West Bengal has swelled in a paradoxical way, in which we would have normally expected the percentage of Muslims to go down. It has gone up, and the percentage of Hindus has gone down, both in West Bengal and in East Bengal, also known as Bangladesh. That is more or less the position. Mohita, I'm very sorry for butting in, but you got disconnected, so I was just taking advantage of it. Now you can go ahead.
That's it. Okay, Mr. Mohit, please go ahead now. I think we're good to go now. So just we want to hear. Go ahead, please continue. Uh-oh, lost him again. I think it's playing.
Let me
So
also
I
add.
guess we lost him again. So we'll.
Can I tell something? What
Please,
Mr.
go
Tathagata
ahead.
said
Shagata, go ahead.
is absolutely correct. So very clearly, so in Bangladesh, so in 1941 census, the Hindus population was 28% exactly, to be true. And now the percentage is 8.5%. So these are the people whom we are calling refugees.
Right.
I'm
Why
just
did they
missing
go?
the
They went
connectivity.
to India.
Can you just give me a few more?
And
Mr.
on the
Sarkar,
other
can I just
hand,
continue?
in West Bengal, 1947, just after partition, the number was 18%, Muslim population 18%. And 2011 census is 27%. And 2011 to now, it will be well above 30%. And this has been, as Mr. Tathagata said,
can I just
during
continue?
the long
I think
regime
Mr.
of
Sarkar has
communism,
lost connectivity.
and this number has went up. And to the point now, this population is having a significant influence on the political era and the power that politics gives to these people. That's happening. So it's a dangerous situation, and this has to be reversed. Otherwise, the existence of Hindus in Bengal and later on in India will be it is an existential problem, danger. I think the sound
Yeah,
is
it
very.
is actually we're having a little bit of
It's
looping,
repeating.
but that's okay. So, thank you, Dr. Sar, and let me give this opportunity to talk to Asimji. So tell us, go ahead. If you have any comments on this, and we want to hear, please. Thank you, Dr. Sar. Can you hear us? Asimji, can you hear us? Tell us, go ahead. Can you hear us? I think it's looping is happening. Can you hear us?
Mashim.
Urmiji, can you reach out to him?
কি করা যায়? কি করা যায়? কি করা যায় এখন?
I think he's on.
Yes. Mr. Asim, can you hear us?
Asimji, you can start.
I think it's no, I think he's having a little technical difficulty. So in the meanwhile, let me ask that this is since in the beginning that you know the excitement question that you agree with, like the minister's session that they will be standing alone in this.
আমি কিছু শুনতেই পাচ্ছি না ওখানকার কোনো কথা। দেখি চেষ্টা করছি।
Unmute the microphone so that we can hear you. Unmute it.
He can't hear any of us, but we can hear him actually.
Okay.
So I think he needs to unmute here. Yeah. And Anu, I just wanted to say that to unmute here. And
go ahead.
Yeah, Anu, I just wanted to say that he's a man of great scholastic ability, and he's a great poet, and he's a very noted personality among the Matwa community as well as the Bengal community. He's a very noted personality among the Matwa community as well as the Bengal community.
কিছু শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
I have a request to continue the program at both Mohit and Oshim Babu. They have some problem. Urmi, could you update us about your latest, the way we are thinking and we are working on this issue? I believe you already spoke to so many times with Tathagatoda. Even you spoke to Pradeep Josiji. Even you have a conference call with Pradeep Josiji with Dr. Sharkar and Oshim Sharkar. And which way you are planning to help on this issue on behalf of our friend of Bengal. And at the same time, Mr. Sharkar, Oshim Sharkar is a ground level worker there, and Dr. Shomi Sharkar is helping us, me and Urmi, to coordinate with him. So Urmi, would you place a few lines, what your discussion with Tathagatoda, Pradeep Joshiji? Even I know on request, Pradeep Joshiji spoke to the event up to the level of Sannada and even Kailash Vijayvargiji on this issue. And Urmi was the mediator on this issue with the help of Dr. Sharkar and Ashimda, and always we have a blessing from Tathagatoda and Mohit. Urmi, can you brief it until Ashimda comes back to the program?
Thank you, Vishwajit.
Yes,
Today is not the best of the days because I'm at my parents' place since I returned very late and I can hear my echo.
Yes.
And actually, thank you, Vishwajit, for all your blessings and connections. And I have been able to work. And since I feel very related to the cause, coming from the same kind of a family, my father is from Khulna and he's a posthumous child. So I have very deep roots and a deep connection, emotional, connect with the issue. We did make connections, and after I spoke to Joshiji, who is very prompt in action, and he spoke with Sri Naddaji, and the very next day we had a media release where it was said that the government. I think we can hear him probably. আপনি কথা বলুন।
হ্যাঁ, নমস্কার। শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, সব শুনতে পাচ্ছি, আপনি বলুন।
Boliye, please go ahead. No, we have. I mean, all the days I think we have the worst connection. So my apologies for that. Like it's not very clear to. Yeah, we are having a very hard time.
Unfortunately, it never happened before. Never happened before.
I think they must be using jammers where we are to cut us off. I mean, they must be so desperate. There were drones yesterday, Anu, and they were taking photographs of all the people, who are all.
Wow. So
And then what they do is that, they do facial recognition and try to call and, kind of threat people.
You must have felt very important at that time, right?
Yeah,
yes, I think so.
I should send you my, mugshot. I was all covered up, they might have gone because it was very sunny. It was extremely sunny. So, but it felt really elated, like seeing what you've been working for happen is like a milestone.
True, true.
Can I
Absolutely.
interject since we are having all this trouble? I'm a follow up with Urmiji.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
please.
Go ahead, Dr. Sarkar. Go ahead.
Urmiji did a great job. Because this, just for your information, these refugees, 90% more of this refugee belongs to the community called Matua community, and it belongs to them. And I have my personal story how I survived in Bangladesh. That story will be probably will be heartbreaking for all of you, but I don't want to go in details of that. But I want to let you know that 90+% of this refugee is Matua community, and I belong to them. And Urmiji took this issue, and she spoke, and she made me aware, and she made me connection with Pradeep Jashiji. We spoke, and he took the decisive action. But I think the things is still, there is some issues that has to be addressed. Urmiji probably can help me. The CAA has been done, and now the rules has to be published, how it will be implemented. So this has to be, I send you a letter addressed to Urmiji, that this, because when we left Bangladesh in the middle of the night to save our life, to dignity of our mothers and sisters, we didn't have any document to collect, and we have to just flee in the middle of the night. So this implementation of the CAA has to be very simple way, very simplified way. And my suggestion will be, the only thing I have to prove that I was a Hindu from Bangladesh, and I should get the citizenship. That's the only thing I should. What else we need? We promised this land should be the land of Hindus, and I am a Hindu from Bangladesh, and I had to leave that country because of my life and the dignity. So that's the thing. Now, I think the bureaucrats, they do not feel this pain. I feel the pain. And I think when they are making these rules, we should be part of this process. Otherwise, there can be a serious mistake, which has been in Assam. And it's a mistake, I have to say this in this forum. In Assam, when the NRC was implemented, 1.9 million people lost citizenship. And among this 1.9 million, 1.3 million is Hindus. It's very unfortunate. And if the same situation happened in the process of making or implementing the CAA, it will be a disaster for Hindus, disaster for BJP, and disaster for India. And I have to tell you that when this coming election coming, 70 MLA seats, 70, I repeat, 70 MLA seats, we Matuas have a great influence. We will be the decisive force. Which way we will be going? Which will be going? So, Motiji, Amitji, they did a great job doing this CAA. We believe in this, and we know, and we believe, and we want BJP to come. Because without BJP, the demographic change, what happened in West Bengal, cannot be reversed. And if we allow to continue this Always is, I don't think this is that risk we can take. This is too much of a risk. We cannot take that. We have to win. BJP has to win in West Bengal. And to win West Bengal, we need these 70 seats of Motua, that the decision. And to get this Motuas, we need to implement the CAA, and in the making the rules to implement the CAA in a very simple manner. In this process, I think, Urmiji, please make a note. We have to be part of this process. Otherwise, there will be mistakes, there will be distrust with the BJP, and that will not help BJP to win in West Bengal coming election.
Wow. Yes, that is actually true. So yeah, Urmi, you're saying something. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I think let Oshimda speak, because we haven't heard him talk, and he is our ground level worker. He is the one who's connecting everyone together.
Okay.
Oshim, please.
নমস্কার।
Namaskar. Go ahead.
আমার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
আমার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
Yes, we can hear you.
অসুবিধা বলুন, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
হ্যালো, আমার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছেন কি?
হ্যাঁ, শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
আমি জয় হরিচাঁদ, জয় গুরুচাঁদ। আমি সবাইকে আমার সশ্রদ্ধ প্রণাম জানাই। আজকে এত সুন্দর একটা অনুষ্ঠানে যোগ দিতে পেরে আমি ইংলিশে কথা বলতে পারি না।
No problem. No problem.
আমি কিছু কিছু বুঝি, কিন্তু ইংরেজিটা আমি বলতে পারি না। আপনারা সবাই বাংলা বুঝছেন তো? আমার সিএ সম্পর্কে একটাই কথা, 2003 সালে আমাদের জন্মসূত্রে নাগরিকত্বটাও অবিবাহের জন্য তাদেরই ভারতবর্ষে তারা এসেছে, তারা তো ভারতেরই নাগরিক ছিলেন, কিন্তু 2003 সালে সেই নাগরিকত্বটা কেড়ে নেওয়া হলো এবং তাদের জন্মসূত্রে না। এবার আমাদের দরদি সরকার, কেন্দ্রীয় সরকার মাননীয় অমিত শাহজি এবং মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীজি, তারা দেখলেন যে পাবার অধিকারী, তাই যে সিএটা পাস হয়েছে। আমরা সবাই জানি সিএটা পাস হয়েছে, সিটিজেনশিপ অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট অ্যাক্ট পাস হয়েছে আমাদের নাগরিকত্ব সুরক্ষার জন্য। যাদের অলরেডি নাগরিকত্ব আছে তারা তো আর নাগরিক হবার জন্য অ্যাপ্লিকেশন করতে পারেন না করে। তাহলে এরা অলরেডি যারা ভারতের ভোটার লিস্টে যাদের নাম আছে, যাদের ভোটাধিকার আছে, এইবার আমার কথা হচ্ছে যে এদের নাগরিকত্ব দেবার জন্য সিএটা পাস করা হয়েছে, কিন্তু এখনো সিএ রুলস বের করে এটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করা হয়নি। এই জন্য আমি গ্রাউন্ড লেভেলে যে খবরটা পাচ্ছি, বিভিন্ন বিরোধী দলেরা তারা এটাই বুঝাচ্ছে যে এই সিএ একটি মানুষও নাগরিকত্ব পাবে না, এমন ভাবে কৌশল করেই এই সিএটা করা হয়েছে। তোমাদের ভুল বোঝানো হচ্ছে। যদি এরা পেত তাহলে এতদিন এর রুলস বের করে ইমপ্লিমেন্ট করত। সাধারণ মানুষকে এইভাবে বুঝিয়ে বুঝিয়ে বিরোধী পক্ষ, বিশেষ করে তৃণমূল সরকার, তাদের যারা প্রতিনিধি কাজ করছে তারা এইভাবে বুঝিয়ে ভুল বুঝিয়ে কিন্তু মানুষকে বিপথে নেওয়ার চেষ্টা করছে। যেহেতু আমি চাই ওটা মাননীয় অমিত শাহজি সংসদে এবং রাজ্যসভায় যে ভাষণ দিয়েছিলেন যে ওপার বাংলা থেকে আসা হিন্দু তারা কোথায় যাবে, তারা তো বিভক্ত ভারতেরই নাগরিক, তারা তো ভারতের নাগরিকত্বই পাবে। এবং তাদের যে নাগরিকত্ব আইন করে কেড়ে নেওয়া হয়েছিল 2(1)B ধারার মধ্যে, সেই নাগরিকত্ব সুরক্ষার জন্য এই সিএ পাস করা হয়েছে। আমি চাইবো অতি সত্বর আপনারা এখানে যারা বসেছেন, মাননীয় তথাগত বাবু, মাননীয় মোহিত বাবু এবং আরো যারা আছেন, সবাই অতি সত্বর যাতে এই সিএটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হয় এবং আমরা মতুয়া সম্প্রদায়ের মানুষ আমরা একচেটিয়া বিজেপিকে ভোট দিয়েছি, বিজেপির সঙ্গে ছিলাম, আমরা আছি, আমরা থাকবো। তাদের যাতে নাগরিকত্ব সুরক্ষা তারা পায় এই নিবেদন আমি এই মিটিং এর মধ্যে রাখছি। আপনারা কেন্দ্রীয় সরকারের কাছে সেই বার্তাটা আপনারা দিন এবং কেন্দ্রীয় সরকারের যারা প্রতিনিধি এখানে রয়েছেন, আমি মতুয়া সম্প্রদায়ের পক্ষ থেকে, বিশেষ করে উদ্বাস্তু সম্প্রদায়ের পক্ষ থেকে এই নিবেদনটি আপনাদের কাছে রাখছি। ফর্ম ফিল আপ করবো, সেই ফর্মটা সরলীকরণ করা হোক। যেহেতু যারা ভোটার লিস্টে যাদের নাম আছে, যাদের ভোটের আই কার্ড আছে, যারা চাকরি বাকরি করছে, যারা ভারতবর্ষের অলরেডি নাগরিক হয়ে গেছে, অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ফর সিটিজেনশিপ এটাতে কিন্তু আমরা ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতে পারি না, কারণ আমি সিটিজেনশিপের জন্য ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতে পারি না। আমি ফর্ম ফিল আপ করতে পারি অ্যাপ্লিকেশন ফর সিটিজেনশিপ সার্টিফিকেট। যেমন আমি শিডিউল কাস্ট, আমি নমশূদ্র এটা জানি, কিন্তু আমার নমশূদ্র সার্টিফিকেটটা নেই। সেখানে হবার এইভাবে যে মুখটা নিয়ে আমরা মানুষের কাছে গিয়ে বড় গলায় বলেছি যে একমাত্র বিজেপি সরকারই আমাদের, এই সরকার আমাদের উদ্বাস্তুদের নাগরিকত্ব দেওয়ার জন্য সিএ পাস করেছে, তোমরা সবাই এসো। আমাদের এই বড় মুখটা যেন মতুয়াদের থাকে। আমাদের মাননীয় শান্তনু ঠাকুর মহাশয় এবং তার সঙ্গে যারা যারা আমরা এই কাজটা করেছি এবং করে যাচ্ছি এখনো, আমরা রাজি নয় আমাদের নাগরিকত্ব হরণ করার জন্য নয়। তাই অতি সত্বর যেন এটা ইমপ্লিমেন্ট হয়ে আমাদের সেই মুখটা উজ্জ্বল থাকে এবং কেন্দ্রীয় সরকারের মুখ উজ্জ্বল থাকে। সমস্ত মানুষ তাদের যেন সেই ভয় ভীতি থেকে তারা মুক্তি পায়। আপনাদের কাছে নিবেদন রেখে আমার বক্তব্য আমি শেষ করছি। জয় হরি।
Urmi, if you could just quickly brief in a couple of sentences, just for our audience, that would be great.
The main point is that he says that some of the Matua community people already have voter cards and they are citizens, so they don't need to apply for citizenship, but what they need to apply is for citizenship certificate. Like if I belong to the scheduled caste community by caste or by birth, I'm already belonging to that particular strata, so I don't need to say I'm that. I need to a certification that I belong to that particular community. So the rules have to be simplified. and
Right.
it cannot be a complicated document. So one needs to distinguish between existing voters and people who need to become voters. So that fine line has to be drawn, and it has to be very succinctly and clearly implemented. So implementation is of great importance, and I think that people like Tathagato da, people like Mohit da, people like Dr. Sarkar, people like Oshim da, Bishwajit da, and everyone, they should become the background voices and be part of the process when the implementation is being done, because you cannot have people who don't understand or belong to that or who haven't been involved in the process come and give their
Right.
expert opinion, because it's a very complicated process, Anu.
Right.
I have also mediated for people. They've studied, they've got their BTech degree, they've gone to IIM, and yet he got caught at Bangalore airport when he was going for an overseas assignment. And he's behind bars. I mean, that cannot happen.
Right.
The person has been living here, and so we need to actually understand and categorize, the different categories that exist, and ensure that justice is done, because this is a very long pending issue, and this is the least that a Hindu based party can do for the Bengali Hindus, because the Bengali Hindus have been a very marginalized community for a long period of time, and this is about time that the world puts an end to it. And this
Right.
is it. This election should be the underlying factor. And as he correctly pointed out, 70 seats over which they have an impact. So it needs to be addressed, because 70 seats is a huge, huge number. We have
Right.
294 seats here. So 70 seats, we need to, focus on that and try to just categorize the different categories that exist, make the rules simple, and at least start a pilot project.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
Anuji, I want to
yes.
just one point here.
Yes. Go ahead. Quick.
We have the expertise. I mean, we are the sufferer. We know the pain. We have the expertise. We drafted how the rules should be. We just want that the government, the central government, should discuss with us. We should be part of this making the process. Otherwise, the bureaucrats, they do not know. They didn't see the suffering of these people. They do not know the pain, and they do not know the problems. So we should be part of this rules making process. So as Urmiji said, it can be done very nicely, so that our goal, the objectives, the Hindus should be part of the Hindustan, should be a citizen of Hindustan. If BJP is the party of Hindus, if they are clear in their mind, if they are clear about their goal, they should implement the way it should be. As he said, it's overdue. It's 74 years. It's overdue for
Right.
long, long time. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And I know that we just saw another question that was for Mr. Roy, that so in a few years that is Bengal, Bengal is going to be a Hindu free, because I think with the things that are going on, so that's, I think that fear is actually bringing up in everybody's the hopes little down. So I think so anyone has a comments on that, like it was just I know it was a question for Tathagata, but I guess we don't have him here. Probably it's a connection issues.
Anandji, I just wanted to say that today
Yes,
we had a
very
few
much.
technical challenges.
We
So
are going to be closing with this question. If
and
anyone has a comment on that, and I think we're probably going to be ending this session today. So apologies for that, and then we definitely want to continue another one. So
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, that's yes. In
yes.
Bangladesh, as I said before 1947, Hindus are 28%. Now it's less than 8%. So in 20 years' time, the Hindus will be in museum in Bangladesh, and the same trend is going in West Bengal, and we are at the juncture of the history. If we cannot make a right decision at this time, in West Bengal, it is coming. Am I dreaming? I am not dreaming. those who are
No,
ignoring this fact.
no, you're not dreaming. It already happened in Kashmir.
It is
So,
already happening. Yes, we can see that.
yeah, it
So,
already happened in Kashmir. So
Disaster.
we know for
we
sure
have
that.
to, with the leadership of Modi ji and Ovid ji, we have to take decisive action. And I think we can reverse this process, and we should do it, and we must do it. And in that connection, I also want to make another suggestion. I think we should be very clear. Bharat is a place of Hindus, and any Hindus from any part of the world wants to come and settle in India, it should be their right. And this is not a example I am giving. This is some countries in the world. I don't want to mention their name. They are practicing it, and they are surviving in a very hostile situation. And if we have to survive, we have to make this, and we can do it. And if today Bengal goes, the whole northeast India will go. That chicken neck will be cut off because the Muslims in West Bengal will make a unite with the Muslims in Bangladesh. They will make a united greater Muslim Bengal. This is reality coming unless we act decisively. And what we should do, we know the solution. If we know the solution and if we do not implement it, then it is a tragedy. If we don't know the solution and then we cannot do it, that's it, we can take it. But if we know the solution and if we do not do it, that's the tragedy, and we will be blamed in the centuries to come for this
Wow,
mistake.
that's absolutely. I think the aggressive action is absolutely needed is probably the first one. So I think I'd like to thank everyone. So let's take this opportunity to thank everyone for joining, especially would be there, and also Biswajit, and everyone for such a big support every time, for bringing such a great the guests to the show, and especially Mr. Shivadas Gupta for his all of his support for the wonderful these topics and all the other guests that he's bringing. So this is a very thought provoking, and like I would like to thank everyone today. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we definitely want to make this happen again, and probably the next session, because we have tons of questions that we really want to discuss, that everywhere it's going to be talked about issue. And not just the CAA, we have so many things, and especially just like in making Bengal the BJP, that it's very important topic, that we have tons of things to discuss, but unfortunately we did not get a chance to do that today. But thank you everyone for joining and taking
And
time to come and share
Thank
it.
you.
I
want to make
only
a
share.
last point here. I'm going to hold you to what you said, that it's going to be BJP government, next government in West Bengal.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
if you need any help with that, whatever we can do from here, please let us know.
Yes, we are.
We'll be
We are
more
here.
than
Yes.
happy to come and help in any way possible.
Yes. So with that one, I'm actually going to say thank you to everyone, and let's join again in another interesting session this coming week. And everyone have a happy holidays, and stay safe. Thank you so much. And
Namaskar.
namaskar.
Jai Hari Bol.
Namaskar.